magic for a good blast here at your side.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This episode, we're going to be talking about Episode 9, Galaxy's Edge, and Anthony Daniels having a stroke. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome to episode freaking 90.
90.
Holy shit!
Been doing this, did this 90 times.
Good goddamn.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's,
Oh.
yeah, 90 episodes. We're sorry, and thank you for tuning in. So,
Thank you for tuning in.
thank you for tuning your finger to the podcast button and pressing play.
And plus, pressing subscribe and then forgetting about it.
All that matters is that it's downloading somewhere
Thank you, person downloading.
on all 30 of your devices. All right, so Anthony Daniels is actively stroking out on Twitter. What is happening?
Why?
Michael? I don't if you've not been following this. So Anthony Daniels had tweeted back at the end of January 28th, saying that it was 3PO's last day on episode 9, and that he was sad, and that, blah blah blah. I'm thankful, all the happiness. January 30th, he tweeted again saying he's touched by everyone's messages. And the doors aren't the only things you open, are they? He started getting weird at the end of that tweet, thanking people. Then on February 4th, it starts getting really weird.
Wait, Tyler,
Yes.
is this an episode of What That Tweet?
Do it.
What is that tweet? What is it? What is it?
I missed that song.
Far too long.
It's been too long.
All
What
right.
That Tweet?
Yes. So on February 4th, he starts having an active Twitter stroke where he says, "How strange."
Well, no, okay, hold on. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, because on February 4th, he uses proper
English.
grammar.
Yeah.
and punctuation and everything. So it
He
seems
starts
fine.
his drunken ramble.
There's no indication yet.
Yeah. So he says, "How strange. I am receiving images of something amazing coming towards us, traveling over decades through space and time, reaching out to all humans on this planet with its message. What could it be? Should I be afraid? Should you? Stay tuned."
So at this point, we had heard rumors that the episode 9 title was going to be talked about on the Disney
Or that it was
shareholders call.
or that the Star Wars show was supposed to come back this week, and it didn't end up coming back that week.
Right, the 5th, I think, was the day it was supposed to come back.
Because one of the show hosts had tweeted about it or posted on Instagram about it, which they make fun of when the Star Wars show actually did come back last week.
A week later from when he had put
Yeah.
that thing on Twitter, or she, I can't remember which one.
It was the guy.
Oh.
And so the day after this, we're thinking, oh, they're going to give us the title either on the call or the Star Wars show, if that was still happening.
Because there was a Star Wars show thing, there was the rumor about the shareholders call, and then Anthony Daniels is
Starts tweeting.
putting weird stuff out on Twitter.
But the 5th came and went, and
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. So,
Then we get to the 6th.
6 days ago, was that the 6th?
Yes.
Yes, the 6th. He says, everyone, except one, is looking the wrong way. But it's getting closer. Amazing. Doesn't seem to be the right shape for a movie title or trailer. Can't see an X or anything. Oh, the signal's faded. I'm sure it'll return. What can it be? Stay tuned. I will. All right, so he's just starting now to get drunk. Like, he's a few drinks in at this point, right?
So far he's been drinking for 48 hours.
Yeah, and I mean he can hold his own apparently, because he's still making some kind of sentences, right? Later that same day, he says, "I have to rest before."
Well, so
I fall apart."
that was at 5:53 on the 6th.
Okay.
The next tweet is an hour later, 6:26.
I have to rest before I fall apart. But wait, I'm receiving a message from TRAVO. Signal fading. Come back. The one who got it? I go up because there's a question mark at the end. And anytime I'm pausing, there's just a bunch of dots. He's just like...
So many dots.
He's stroking out. Signal fading, come back, the one who got it. The one who got it? Whatever.
So then...
And one was capitalized. That's weird.
Well, yeah,
Anyways,
so in the tweet before that, he says, everyone except one is looking the wrong way. I guess that's a reference. Is he referring to that when he says the one
I
capitalized who
guess.
got it?
And then, as of recording today, 3 hours ago from when we're recording, February 12th at 6:21 p.m., he says signals faint. Faint spelled F-E-I-N-T. Signals faint, but now more. Bright stars. Because Paleo,
P-L, all capitalized. P-A-L-E-I-O.
fading. In. Just the capitalized letter
Capital
N.
N.
Fading. Could be on the just P-A, and it ends. To the answer, I'm assuming, but it ends with more dots. Fading. Have to update system. Will this never end? Robot. Error. Should read reboot. Pal. Is your only hoe. Fading. No. And then
K-N-O.
nothing.
K-N-O at the end.
So
I think he's trying to
tomorrow
become the
morning
next
he'll be
Jaden
found-
Smith.
tomorrow morning he'll be found dead in a hotel room surrounded by bottles of liquor.
I think he's just the next Jaden Smith, is what's happening.
he rapped on 3PO and he just went into a drunken fit and he hasn't stopped drinking since. So, but breaking this apart somehow. So first he says it doesn't seem the right shape to be a movie title or trailer. Can't see an X or anything. So X, I'm assuming that an X and 9.
XI, yeah, right.
IX. XI would be 11. So can't see an X or anything. The signal's faded. I'm sure it'll return. Stay tuned. I will. Whatever. Then he says, I'm receiving a message from TRAV, from Trav. His good old buddy Trav is sending him a message. Come back, the one who got it. Whatever. And then signals faint. So signals faint as in like faint, F-E-I-N-T, like dodge, like fainting.
Like fake out. Like
Yeah.
a,
So
yeah.
signals faint, which it's weird to spell it that way. But now more bright stars. So it still seems Star Warsy, right?
Yeah.
Because Palau, P-A-L-E-I-O, which turns out to be Hawaiian for balance, fading.
Interesting.
Then the letter N. So it's possible that the letter N goes with that word of P-A-L-E-I-O-N.
Yeah.
Which would then discount the whole Hawaiian thing. Could be on the to the answer.
Could be on the path.
Could be on
is
the
what I'm
path
guessing.
to the answer. Have to update. Will this never end? Should read.
Well, isn't it? Well, so it all seems Star Wars
Yeah.
until he
Will this
says
never end?
robot error.
Should read reboot. Pal. So it's like he's trying to say that same word again. And then it breaks into is your only hope. Fading. And then the word K-N-O.
Is your only hoe fading?
Have we got a deal for you?
Come into Chris's hoe juice. We'll give your hoe some juice. She won't be faded no more.
Is it just a tanning salon? Is the hose fading?
Satanic?
A tanning salon.
Oh.
It's just,
This is a
is your hoe
satanic
fading?
salon. Yeah.
Bring her into the. Just darken her back up.
Chris's hoe juice.
It's just like orange spray tans. Is that what that is? So,
Is your only hoe fading?
so he says he can't see an X or anything, and it doesn't seem like a movie title or trailer. But then he starts just talking gibberish about stars and
robots and paleo
and stuff that seems Star Wars related, like is your only hope, it seems, and
yeah,
if paleo is the right word for balance,
the
and,
one capitalized.
one capitalized, and this has been going on for now weeks. This is 2 weeks on
Mhm.
that this has been happening. He took a pretty big break from the 4th now to the 4th to the 6th, and then 6 days after that, now the 12th.
Yeah.
So, and if he's leading up to an announcement or something, that seems really weird to use Anthony Daniels for that, right?
Yeah.
But I guess it's because it's the place you'd least expect it,
But
unless it has nothing to do with Star Wars and he's just being a massive dick.
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I mean, he really doesn't seem like the kind of person to
He's just telling us he's going to be at Comic-Con.
tease stuff.
That's what someone was saying in the Twitter responses. Is Like, what are you just trying to tell us you're going to be at, or no, you're just trying to tell us you're going to be at Celebration? Is that what's happening?
Anthony. He's already been announced for Celebration, right?
I don't think he has actually.
Oh, has he not?
Wha-
Will this never end? Robot error. Should read reboot pal is your only hope. Fading no.
But I mean if that word for balance, I mean the rumored title for episode 9 is Balance of the Force. So that's something, maybe. Or a happy accident. But I highly doubt that.
What is robot and reboot? Why?
Well, there was a robot error, and then he needed to reboot, but he was just saying stuff in between. So
Will this never end?
could
Robot
be on the path to the
error.
answer.
Should read.
Will this never end? Should read is your only hope. Fade no. The dude's lost it. It's really frustrating because he's obviously doing this because he's not, I'm assuming, insane all of a sudden. But it's been going on for weeks at a time now. And
Has he
it's
ever
just
done this
getting
before?
Weirder and weirder. I
Not that I know of.
don't think so.
Not things like this.
I mean, yeah, he's said stuff about being on, episode 9, talking about having lunch and what he was eating.
Well, I mean, I guess looking through some of his other tweets here, it's really just kind of confusing.
Most of his
so-
most of his tweets are episode 9 spoiler alerts about what he ate on set.
Yeah. Okay, here's one from November 28th, 2018. Star Wars, Episode 9, spoiler alert. Now it can be told leak. Dateline Pinewood. It's cold and raining. Demands are made to return to the wonderful warm planet of Jordans. Wadey
Rum.
Rum
Yeah, that's
Where
that's what
cast
they
and
shot in
crew-
Jordan.
of Jordans, Wadey Rum?
Yeah.
Jordans, Wadey Rum.
Wadey Rum of Jordan. Like the land, like the place in the world, Jordan,
Okay.
not like
Yes,
a person.
I know.
Okay, yeah, that's where they shot stuff in.
Why
in
Jordans?
Wadi or
Possessive.
Wadey Run? Because it's theirs.
Jordans,
Because it's Jordan's. The Wadey Run is in Jordan, so it's theirs.
that would be like saying Florida's Orlando.
I mean, you technically.
Well, there's
it's
no
true.
other Orlando. Okay.
Technically, it's true. I mean, it's not any
guess.
less true. It's just a weird way to put it.
Where cast and crew spent a glorious time in a beautiful, spectacular, thrilling setting or two. Okay.
Right.
Thanks for the update, Anthony. Maybe we're just learning that he's he's bad at Twitter. Maybe that's all that's happening now.
All of these tweets are just pocket tweets.
They're just bad.
Somehow they're somewhat cohesive at one point, but then they just start to fall apart.
He must be just running now.
Yeah, it's just phones bouncing in his pocket.
This is what happens when you just tap the middle button over and over for.
Oh
for-
yeah, when you like
text suggestions.
autocomplete a
Yeah.
sentence and it just turns into nonsense. Yeah. But I mean, so 3PO has wrapped. R2 wrapped later after 3PO.
Mhm.
Interesting. And now BB-8 is wrapped as well.
Wrapped production.
Yeah, like they're done filming. Because like the guy that does
Not
BB-8.
did a wrap.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Okay,
it'd
it's
just be a
just-
bunch of beeps and boops.
Just clear. just
I said a
clarify.
beep, boop,
A beep to you.
boop. Yeah. So, because the guy that carts BB-8 around with the wheelbarrow handle, that guy, he was tweeting recently about how he wrapped on filming for BB-8
right.
and how thank you for the opportunity, and like everyone's like saying goodbye to the like saying goodbye like they're done.
Well, I
Which
mean,
is
I'm
weird.
sure.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And R2 wrapped after 3PO. Dum dum dum.
I don't think that's as big of a deal as you're making it out to
Probably
be.
not.
What does that mean? The R2 remote control person?
That's really kind of you to put it that way.
Is there still somebody in R2D2?
No, there's
After Kenny
somebody
died?
controlling R2D2.
Okay.
Which I guess I mean,
He's not a character if he's just a puppet.
jeez. It just made someone somewhere really sad.
It'd be like saying if Yoda rapped. Well, no. Frank Oz rapped.
Yeah, they put him in his box and they wrapped him up and put him away. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, 3PO.
I've got a whole page here of Jaden Smith tweets. You want to read those?
3PO could die for all we know and just be gone forever. How sad would that be?
That would be very sad.
And R2 lives and 3PO dies? That would be so sad.
That would be sad. No, we can't have that. We have to kill R2.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, no, that's no good. I mean, I didn't like when K2 died in Rogue One.
Yeah,
He was the most compelling character of that movie.
That was really sad. And the way he died was really horrible.
Yeah. Sacrificing himself for these people who aren't worth it.
For this unorganized.
Look who you're sacrificing yourself for. Jin! No!
Throw her at them. Oh, K2. Speaking of K2, Alan
mountain?
Tudyk was talking recently about
Oh.
the Cassian show and how they've spoken to him about it. So we could get K2 in the Cassian show. We could get
Makes
the
sense.
origin of K2, which would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Him being turned into a good guy robot.
Well, Cassian reprogrammed him, right? That's the...
Right, he's
That's
he's
the
a
deal.
reprogrammed
Imperial droid.
Imperial droid.
Yeah.
So we could get the origin of K2 in the show, which would be cool.
Yeah,
And anything Alan Tudyk is in is fine by me.
right.
He's always fantastic. What else, Michael? Speaking of Star Wars shows,
Speaking of Star Wars,
the Resistance is still good.
there... Oh.
The most recent
right.
episode of the Resistance, really the whole episode, you don't have to watch most of it, but the end is possibly important because if you haven't been watching the show, the First Order wants this small platform base that's on this water planet. They're trying to gain control of it for some reason. As to up to now, we weren't sure why they wanted to be there or occupy it. Right.
Right.
As of this last episode, they get plans from the First Order, and it looks like they want the platform as a refueling station for essentially what looks to be them gathering a fleet for a war.
And it seems like this is more serious than just... So the show takes place before Force Awakens, obviously.
Right.
It
It is about to catch up to that timeline.
Which I found interesting. I haven't been keeping up with it as much as other people, I guess, but I didn't know it was gonna... I thought they were gonna pull a Rebels and just stretch out this time period as far as
Oh.
they can. But
No,
they're
it's about to catch up, to that time period.
right to the point where Starkiller Base fires on the Republic.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, so
Which is going to be interesting because BB-8 has still been a main character in the show. So BB-8 is going to have to go away at some point
yeah, true. To
to be a part of the war and disappear on Jakku.
Jakku, yeah, duh. Why I
Um,
forgot the name of the dumb planet. For some reason I thought it was a different planet that Lars Venteca was on, but
Lars?
what's his name?
Oh, Michael. Lor Santeca? Not Lars Vanteca. Lars is from
Lars
Lars is from Metallica.
What? Is that the same person? Oh, gosh. I'm really having a brain fart right now.
Yes, Lams von Texaco was on Jakku.
I thought it was a different planet too. I don't know why.
Yeah, so Lor Santeca is on Jakku.
Anyway,
And so BB-8 will be off the show, I guess, at that point. But yeah, it was,
But-
they're gonna have the Starkiller firing on the Resistance, and the Resistance the Republic, and the Republic being destroyed. And I'm assuming they're going to get into that with Kaz being a Resistance pilot,
Yeah.
or a Republic pilot, probably soon to be Resistance pilot.
yeah.
And
Well, so Poe is the one that puts him on that station, right? And basically pawns him off on...
well, as
on
a
what's his
spy to
name?
find this out, what he just found out.
But hooks him up with what's the guy's name? His main contact. there, the
Lars?
alien. No. What's that guy's name? The main mechanic
Now
guy.
that you're gonna ask me, I'm totally not gonna know what it is.
But anyway, Yeah, so Poe is the one who's kind of the connecting tissue there. So
Right.
eventually, yeah, I think Poe's going to come back, and I don't know if he ends up recruiting Kaz or what, but
You're talking Jaeger.
yeah, Jaeger, right?
But I mean, it's especially if when it catches up to that point, everything has taken place on this platform because that was his mission was to find out why the First Order, what they were doing here, right? And he's now found that out.
Hmm.
I wonder how much more of the show will actually be on this platform. I think the show is about to open up a lot more than it has been.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because I don't think there's any reason for it to still take place there once. I mean, Kaz is probably going to be part of the Resistance fight in some
Yeah,
capacity. I doubt he's just going to hang out on this platform fighting the First Order or hiding from them the whole time.
right.
Sure.
And not to mention after Starkiller Base, or after the events of the beginning of Force Awakens, like right as you come up to Starkiller Base firing on the Republic, it's only a few days
Right.
between that and like the entire Last Jedi story.
Yeah, which is weird because the show is going to surpass the timeline real quick.
Yeah.
Um,
The timeline that like all the new canon that we know of so far.
so this is going to be like other canon happening elsewhere, I guess, in regards to the First Order.
Yeah, but so is it going to take
lesser? I mean, I guess less important than the main story, but probably just as important. And it'll be interesting because we'll get to see the fight against the First Order elsewhere. Because I'm sure there is
Right.
someone fighting the First Order that's not this main story we followed, right?
Right. And in
which would be it's great. It's a great idea.
And in the Poe comic recently, we got the story of Poe sending out, I forget the name of the squadron, but basically Snap and
The
a
Black Squadron.
was it Black Squadron?
That's Poe's squadron.
Okay. Well, they got sent out during, I forget where exactly in the events of Last Jedi, but at some point to go search out, help for the Resistance.
Okay.
So I think it was before Leia's like last ditch, ping at the end of the
Because
movie.
none of those guys were there
Right.
for that. It was just like them and their runaway ship.
Right. So I think they were sent out before that to kind of drum up support for the Resistance.
Yeah.
Because of all this. So, maybe Kaz will run into those guys at some point,
That would be interesting. I could see them having like Snap
Yeah.
being there.
But I mean, just to your point of we'll be able to see the rest of that world, which is kind of something I had been talking about a while ago about how that's what I want to see in this next movie. I want to see like the power of the First Order and
because
why
we
we need
assume
to
they've
fear
already
them.
occupied planets. They've
Right.
become a problem already that they're having to fight. So I'm assuming they've probably occupied planets like the Empire has.
Right.
And now that they've blown up all of the planets that were part of the Resistance system or the
The
Republic system.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming, anyone that could fight was fighting elsewhere because we only saw, this one fleet or this one starship that was running away from the First Order because Kylo had a bug up his ass. So, I mean, because the show Resistance has taken place on this little platform and he's kind of now completed his mission at this point, I could see it opening up to a much larger story, which would be awesome.
Yeah. I just wonder if it'll make that jump to past The Last Jedi while they're exploring the rest of this.
Almost has to. I don't see how it couldn't, just because of the timeline, unless because it's supposed to catch up to that.
Unless
I don't know
Ezra
if
shows
it's
up.
going to catch up to that this season. I bet the end of season 1 will probably be.
Unless Ezra shows up in his time machine and takes them back in time.
He finds the portals, and it's. And then it's just Rebels again, but with Kaz in it.
From season 1 all the way through.
It's Rebels all the way through again, but Kaz is
Kaz is
Ezra.
us as the audience watching Rebels, wondering what the heck is going on. I would watch that show.
Oh no! No!
It'll be interesting to watch where they take this.
I'm assuming season 1 will probably end with with the Republic's destruction.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that'll be like the like ending
Sure.
of the season.
Yeah.
Which then gives them a little more time before we have a season 2 to.
Yeah.
I don't even know when season 2 is going to be,
I'm
which
not
could be
sure.
after 9.
You mean pick up after 9?
I'm saying season
Well,
2
I mean-
might not air until after 9.
Oh. You might be right.
So it may be that we have the story so that they have all of the time they need because episode 9 is supposed to be a year later.
Well,
Right?
haven't they
the
already
rumor is that episode 9 is going to be a year after Last Jedi.
Haven't they already showed Have they showed the teaser for the end of season 1 or the teaser for season 2?
I don't know.
Okay. That's what I don't know.
But I mean, yeah, so I mean technically, I mean if actually it doesn't really matter then because the rumor is that episode 9 is going to be a year after Last Jedi. So if there is any sort of time jump, they do have a lot of time to play with where there may be other things happening with the First Order that aren't
Yeah.
important to the story of the Skywalker saga.
I guess that's true.
The First Order is probably spreading and building and, becoming the Order.
So Disney Channel, this is back in January, Disney Channel has ordered a second season of Star Wars Resistance for a fall 2009 premiere.
2009.
Sorry, 2019.
Okay.
There's a
The
9
time
in there. Ezra!
Oh no. Okay.
So
it's gonna,
before 9.
so it's gonna
It'll premiere before 9.
yeah, so it may fall into line with the
So I think you're right, actually.
so
I
by the
wasn't
time
even...
by the time season 2 happens, they have a whole year of space to fill in. So I don't think it will catch up to episode 9 anytime soon.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the time jump between 8 and 9.
It may catch up to 8.
It would have to, right? Because, like I said, it's only a couple days that
Yeah, I
all
mean,
that stuff
especially
takes
if
place.
season 1 ends with the Starkiller thing.
Yeah,
But if it happens sooner, they still have time to play with.
Yeah.
And then once season 2 happens, there's all of that time to fill with, and that's how they fill that time jump now. They fill that time jump with this is what the First Order has been doing during that time.
See, now, if this is what they do, this show suddenly has turned into one of my favorite shows.
Right.
Because this is exactly what I
They
want
can
to
use
see.
this to tell us the things that aren't important for episode 9 to
Yeah.
take place.
Right.
But it gives us a background of like, this is the shit that was taking place. This is what the First Order was doing and rebuilding and restructuring and
Right.
under Kylo's leadership, how maybe bad it's gotten.
So this is almost like them learning from the mistakes of Rebels, where they tried to shoehorn in
Make it matter.
stuff to make sense
Right.
in order to connect the dots to A New Hope
Yeah.
between Clone Wars and the prequels and A New Hope, where they were just shoving stuff in there that didn't necessarily make sense. But now this is more of a just open sandbox. They could just kind of, in a way, within certain rules, do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Which sounds really cool. And not only will it give us what happens with the First Order, but like what's gonna happen with the New Republic. Like,
Yeah. If there's other,
How
we
does
find
that
out if
affect the
we find out if there's
galaxy?
other groups of resistance now.
Yeah.
That have banded together and are fighting the First Order elsewhere, or
yeah, right,
maybe even coming to the aid of them on Crate.
right,
They could even fill in that story of like what happened after Crate
right. Where did they
Um,
go? Where did Leia go?
and fill in some of that. So like before 9 even comes out, maybe we might already know like, oh, this group came to their aid on Crate and helped fight away, and they started rebuilding a base on this planet. Like we may have, because Leia has been in the show already, we may have more of Leia
right,
and stuff like that, and actual like full on resistance. What has been happening in the meantime?
right, exactly.
And I don't
It's,
know.
it sounds like a great idea. I mean,
they may not go that direction, but I mean it's very possible that they would, and I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you don't. You don't have to write a story about what took place in the meantime. Just give us it in the show.
right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really hope
it's good.
they end up doing that. I don't know if this war thing, the coming war thing that they're teasing, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
actually a war or if it's just
Well, it says it's like they're planning for a war, but I also think they probably were, but they probably didn't plan for Starkiller to explode either.
well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So I'm thinking they had all these plans for an oncoming war to take out the Republic or whatever, but they probably didn't end up needing their plan.
Well, and
because
they
shit went
didn't
bad.
anticipate Snoke dying, obviously,
Right.
and Kylo taking over and all the stuff that happens in Last Jedi that
I'm
they're
sure
gonna
as
have
soon
to
as
deal with.
Kylo's in charge, all plans were thrown out the window.
Sure.
And it was, I want this, and then that's just what happened from then on.
I want it now.
Yeah, it's just he wants a goose that lays a golden egg, and he wants it now.
I want a feast. I want a bean feast.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
I forgot about that. What kid wants a bean feast? It's a weird ass kid.
Why does your stupid ass want a bean feast?
You know, honestly, if my kid ever asked me for a bean feast, I would probably just do it out of the sheer excitement of being able to say I've had a bean feast.
But very literally a bean
Like,
feast.
you know what, son? We're going to the store and we're buying a can. We're buying
a can of every
We're
bean.
buying 5 cans of every bean they have, and we're gonna cook them all, and we're gonna put them just on a giant platter and have a bean feast. We're gonna get out the kiddie pool and we're gonna fill it with beans, and we're gonna eat it with ladles, and we're gonna have a bean feast. Oh, speaking of Star
Cream
Wars.
buns and donuts and fruitcake with no nuts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Veruca.
Anyway,
Speaking of
bean feast.
of bean feasts, and I don't even know.
My
how to-
pants are gone. And now, back to the show.
The HBO president, Casey Bloys,
Are you serious? That's his name.
it's a name.
Okay.
Was talking about was being asked about the guys from that do Game of Thrones, Dan and David, who are making who are signed on for Star Wars films, and all we'd ever heard was the term films. So
Films.
multiple.
Mm-hmm.
So he was saying, hey, Dan and David are finishing up the final season of Game of Thrones, and then they are going to go into the Star Wars universe. When they come out of that, I assume they will come back to us. But then he said the delay has to do with the fact that they were offered 3 movies. So all we had ever heard was films before.
Yeah.
I think you and I were kind of already assuming it was a trilogy.
Yeah. I think we had talked about
I've heard
it
from a lot of
before.
other people that it was and assumed like just a duology, just 2 films. But I mean, what is Star Wars if not trilogies? Because Ryan is doing a trilogy too, right?
That's the rumor. Or I don't think it's even a rumor at that point. I think
they announced he was doing a trilogy.
Yeah.
When they announced it.
Yeah.
And then these guys, they just announced films.
Films.
Which they probably offered them 3 films, and then we're probably going to see like how it panned out about what they wanted to do, and if they.
Well, that's like the
needed to
rumor
be
that
3.
that what's his name? The guy who played Solo. That he was.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah, that's it. That he was offered, or his contract.
Multiple films.
Yeah, 3, right? That he was
I think so.
contracted for 3 films. I don't know about the others, but
Yeah.
at least he was.
That was the rumor.
Whether or not they do them and when they do them, that's a different question. But
Yeah.
so it might be something similar with these guys, where maybe they make one and see how it performs, and then see if.
Or they offered them 3, like, I don't know, to give them room to see what they want to do, what they wanted to do with it.
True. Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, that comes back to what we talked about a long time ago about how we may have like 2 Star Wars trilogies going on at the same time, where it could just be like their movie and Ryan's movie. Like every other year, we get another
Of this
addition
these
to
2 different
to
stories.
The trilogy that's ongoing.
Do you think these stories would
Super
ever
confusing.
cross over? Like, do you think they would ever? I know Ryan has said before that he kind of has his own idea, and
He wants it to be elsewhere with other characters and places you've never seen before. and,
exactly.
like, just a story in Star Wars.
And I think we had talked about a while ago. It'd be great if it was Old Republic stuff, which
Yeah,
is something
but
we
that
don't
would
really know
be-
about.
I guess, but that would still be something quote known, which I mean really is an unknown.
But we're talking like Old Republic, like before
But I'd even talked about
Before
the Game of
Yoda.
Thrones guys doing that because it seems kind of their shtick of like Game of Thrones, like doing like an Old Republic or a Jedi Wars or something that's
Oh,
almost like a medieval. I mean, not medieval, but like almost like a fantasy battle like thing
Yeah.
Old Republic seems fitting for them.
That's
if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
if that's what they know.
Yeah, I think it was these guys we were talking about, not Ryan.
And then, but Ryan was saying how he wanted to do something, with characters and places you've never seen. So he seemed like he wanted to be like, this is something just totally not related to anything ever,
Yeah.
and it's a story that just takes place in the universe, which would then be the first of its kind because we still, as of yet, don't have a story that just takes place in the universe of Star Wars that isn't a Star War.
Yeah.
They've all been Star Wars stories.
I'm just thinking of it from all we've ever known so far is this big,
This
you know,
arc, this giant arc.
yeah, that's all been kind of weaved together through different media, different mediums
Yeah.
now, especially after the purchase.
And I mean, you have books and stuff that are in those same settings that don't have anything to do with the major story, like Lost Stars or stuff like that. But it's still,
But all
it's
kind of
still in
under
that
the big
timeline,
umbrella.
right? It's still in that timeline, in that umbrella of
Affected by the big
the
events.
big event that's happening,
Sure.
and here are the little stories within that event.
Sure.
Whereas Ryan wants to do something that seems just it's not any of that. It's
It
just,
seems like
here's
it
a
from what he's
story
saying,
elsewhere that's happening, and
Yeah.
there could not even be stormtroopers or Jedis in it for all we know.
Right.
Which that would definitely be the first of its kind, of just having a story in the universe, and if people can handle that, will be interesting.
Right. That would be very interesting. What is Star Wars without all the familiar elements that
The
we
Ewok
know
movies.
of? Oh gosh. Ryan's bringing back confirmed. Ryan's bringing back the Ewok.
It's a new Ewok movie. Yeah, it's a new Ewok trilogy.
Jeez, trilogy of Ewok. Ugh.
I mean, that's what those are. It's Star Wars with just
That's true.
the story removed, the overarching story
Isn't that-
removed.
it's just Willow with the Star Wars title.
It's
Isn't it?
Willow, but bad.
Willow was not good though, was it?
It wasn't an Ewok movie.
I never. Is that good or bad? What do you say?
You've seen the Ewok movie. I'll let you judge if anything can be worse.
I forget
You
if
didn't,
I've
we didn't even finish. You wouldn't even finish it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
You're like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
It was so late. It was like 1:00. We were watching the first Ewok movie. I couldn't take it anymore.
It's so boring. But I watched it when I was a child.
They were just in California. It was just California.
It was
You
just
could
some hills that a
tell.
development hasn't been built on yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's just real estate land.
With baggy Ewok suits running around and their skin not moving the way anything should. Yeah, I assume Ryan Johnson can do better than that.
That's what we all hope. Speaking of doing better than that, Taika Waititi talking about The Mandalorian.
Yes, he did.
He did talk about it. And he was talking about how, in this quote here, about, I think someone had asked him, how does this compare to your experience with Marvel movies and kind of the freedom that you got with Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
And he was quoted as saying, Star Wars is very different to Marvel style. They know that the tone of the first films really should be kind of adhered to. That's what the fans like, and you can't really disrespect it, I guess, which is a nicer way of saying can't put too many jokes in. Which, going back to Phil and Chris with the Solo movie, which
Well,
is what they tried to do.
and he says there's a bit, he said it's, my tone's there, but the like the dialogue and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Star Wars always has jokes and humor in it.
Well,
It's
look
not
at Last
humorless.
Jedi. I watched that again recently, Last Jedi, which
What's
by
the thing that's been going around on Twitter too? There was somebody that tweeted the scene where Luke is tickling Rey's fingers with the reed,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, "You can't tell me this is Star Wars. You can't watch this clip and tell me this is Star Wars." And people were like tweeting back the clip of Yoda hitting R2 with his staff,
Yeah.
with his stick.
Mine.
Yeah. Like, what the hell are you talking about,
Right.
idiot? That's definitely Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah, there's Salacious Crumb. There's
Yeah. That's
so annoying.
jumping and
There's in Jabba's palace. There's a droid torture room where a droid's feet are being burnt.
and he's yelling and screaming in pain.
Yeah.
So
First off, what ass of a engineer made a robot with
That could feel pain.
sensors with that can feel pain. First off, just the sense of feeling pain
But also in his feet.
is not necessary for droids. But also, he put them in his feet. There are pain receptors in this droid's feet. I think it was a Gonk droid that was getting
Yeah.
tortured, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And he's yelling because his feet are being burned by hot irons.
Do you notice though? I watched that movie again recently. Do you notice how when he yells, it's very like, oh, what a living. You ever notice that?
Like that? What is it? I don't even remember what it sounds like.
Like he's yelling in pain, but it's like it's very reserved.
Like, not again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's very reserved and like,
It's Monday.
yeah. Oh no. Here we go again.
Yeah.
You got to watch that again to listen for that. Because it's not like a person being tortured where it's just agony. It's just like, oh man.
Oh, my tootsies. But yeah, what is Star Wars if not it? You know, there's stupid humor. It's been in all of them.
Just weird stuff like that.
There was Jar
Han
Jar.
slapping Luke's hand in A New Hope when Luke goes to touch something in the Falcon. I mean, come on.
Oh, we had Jar Jar.
The end.
Yeah, I guess that's example 1 through Z. Jar Jar. Yeah. People's
We had Brian
expectations.
Blessed as a giant frog man.
Oh, poor guy.
Anyway,
Yeah, so I mean, there's still going to be humor in it. I don't know if the Mandalorian's necessarily probably the tone of humor, like not necessarily the tone of show that would be humor filled, humorful. Is that a word? That's what I wanted to say.
okay.
I mean, I'm assuming it's it's a lone gunman. It's about this Mandalorian. It doesn't really seem like the haha comedy show,
Right. But I mean,
but it's also not Thor Ragnarok, which that's a whole different story.
well, yeah, and compare that movie to other Marvel movies.
Compare that to any other Thor movie.
That's true.
It's the
It's
best
definitely the
one.
best Thor movie.
Yeah. It's
Um,
probably one of the best Marvel movies.
I would say definitely. Definitely one of the best. Well, and I'm just saying how different that is from the other Marvel movies, and the fact that he got that freedom to do that is great.
Yeah.
But
So far, I don't think
I
anyone's
think
been given that freedom in Star Wars.
I think we can both agree that maybe this show certainly isn't the place for it.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
you can have.
I still sort of hold on to the conviction that the Solo movie was the right place for it, but what we got was really good.
I don't know.
So
I think the problem is just the irreverence of the characters in that. Like, okay, don't suddenly make Han Solo a slapstick movie, like Han Solo a slapstick humor guy. Because he wasn't, right? So I don't know if just because of the fact of who it was and the story it was telling, I don't know if you could do it there. But they could make any other Star Wars movie that doesn't have to do with the stuff that people care about and are gonna be assholes about when you make it silly, and it's fine. But you can't just I don't know, you can't come out with something that's like main story, main character, and just make it like a clown show.
I'm not saying make it a clown show. I'm saying just make it like Thor Ragnarok.
Well, no, but I'm saying
That's not a clown
but
show.
I'm saying I don't know if you could even make a Thor Ragnarok type film with the beloved characters.
I guess not.
And Thor Ragnarok worked with the characters that were in it just because it was Thor and it was the Hulk, right? Like if you had thrown Iron Man in there or Captain America in there, it wouldn't have made sense for them. It would have felt weird, I think, having them in a movie that was so funny and wacky.
Well, I guess I don't know. It was funny because of how seriously Thor takes himself, and
Well, yeah, that's a whole another.
throw Bruce
layer to
Banner
it,
in there,
right.
and then Jeff Goldblum. It's just a recipe for success.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just make the Star Wars cheers that I want.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say. By the way, John Ratzenberg, like we were talking about, John Ratzenberg is coming to Celebration.
Yes.
We need to go to Celebration, and you need to pitch him your Star Wars Cheers idea.
If only I forget his character's name from Empire. Bryn? No, like Commander or General Bryn or Brun or something like that, I think.
The guy,
Um
the guy in Hoth you're talking about.
yeah, the guy that Ratzenberger plays. Yeah, I want to go and I want to pay however much money it is to get to meet him, just so that I can like pitch him Star Wars Cheers. And I want him to still play his same character from Cheers, but as the general he played in Star Wars.
Major Bren Derlin.
Yeah, Bryn Derlin. I just want him to be Bryn Derlin in Star Wars Cheers. So I want him just to basically play the exact same character from Cheers, but as Bryn Derlin. So instead of a mailman, he's gonna be an old, like retired, like old, beat down Republic general. And then that's all I want. Is I want Star Wars Cheers with him as Bryn Derlin.
Would what's his name in Good Place? Wow. Oh my gosh.
John Cena. I don't know.
Da, 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 da.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't.
Oh my gosh. Why?
And
And Curbed Your Enthusiasm.
Michael Moore. Ted Danson.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Why can't? It's like the most recognizable name ever.
Anyone that's still alive from Cheers.
Would he come back?
Anyone that's alive from Cheers should be in it as whatever other rando character. Not the same characters. Not the
Okay,
same,
so
not the
wait a
same
minute.
exact characters from
Okay.
Cheers.
So
They have to play new people.
John Ratzenberger is going to play his same character from Cheers, but as Major Bren Derlin
I want him to act the exact same way.
in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to be the exact same thing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But then you want Ted Danson not to come back as the bartender.
No, he can come back as the bartender, but not as this. Like he has to be someone else. Obviously, someone from
Okay,
Star
fine.
Wars.
Someone
yeah.
in
But
universe.
he can still be a bartender. That's fine.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were
They
saying
can
he
all
would-
be. They can all do the exact. Okay, so you remember the first season of the U.S. Office where it was just ripping off all the. It was just
Yes.
redoing all the episodes.
Yeah.
Just do that.
But in the Star Wars
just
universe.
completely remake Cheers, shot for shot and line for line, but make it Star Wars. That's fine. That's all I want. That's easy enough, right? You don't even have to think about it. You've got the scripts; they're written. Just change a few words here and there, and to make them spacey, and you're good.
How about just the first episode and maybe not the whole first season?
I guess. Sure, that would be funny if the first episode was like a shot for shot, line for line remake of the first episode of Cheers. That would be really, really funny. And then from there,
With John
whatever.
Ratzenberger playing Major Bren Derlin
Yeah.
in the same outfit and everything
Uh-huh.
from Hoth.
Yeah, this is fine with me.
Would it be set on Hoth?
No. I don't know where you'd have space Cheers.
Coruscant.
Probably Coruscant.
It'd have to be, right?
Yeah, and they complained about Dex's Diner and how they're losing people to this new place that's opening up.
Coruscant is so big, and yet they're
Yeah, but
complaining
it's
about
still-
Dex's
it's still
Diner.
Dex's Diner, yeah. See, Star Wars is
That
so
would
big.
be very
we-
Star Wars.
It would. Just
To
focus on like
reference-
these 5 things in this whole universe.
Yeah. To reference the only other thing that we know that's
It's like
of this
on the
type.
same street as Dex's Diner, even though Coruscant's an entire giant ass
bar-
planet covered in buildings.
And that bar that Obi-Wan and Anakin go into to
Yeah,
chase
with
the
death
shapeshifter.
sticks. There's an episode that's like about the dangers of death sticks, it's like a PSA episode like they used to have in those old shows.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this Bob's become an alcoholic. We need to talk to him. Like
It gets very
there's some-
serious.
Yeah,
and-
there's one serious episode about the trouble with death sticks.
Yeah.
and that's the name of the episode. Trouble with death sticks.
the trouble with this.
Man, if only I could talk to Ratzenberger about all of these great ideas that he would definitely be on board for.
And would definitely listen to you.
Not like he's got anything else going on with Disney, voicing every character in every Pixar film. Oh man,
What place in
Numbers.
Star Wars is most like Boston?
most like Boston. What planet do we know that's most like Boston?
What's the Boston planet? It'd have to be Coruscant, right? Or is that more New York?
I mean, that's space New York. Do we have a Boston? What?
A place with a lot of history, probably.
Yavin?
No, it's too remote.
Yeah, there's not like cities on Yavin.
Yavin 4, you're talking
Yeah.
about. I don't know.
Where's Cassian in the beginning of the beginning of
he's on that-
Rogue One?
Isn't it it's like that satellite type planet?
Is it? It could just be that. It could be a space space station place.
It's just a prison.
I mean, at that
I
point,
don't
if it's a
know.
space station, Bryn Darlin could just be a mailman now and making space deliveries.
That's true.
After the war,
really do.
after the war, he started running space deliveries. So he's literally it's just Cheers in Star Wars.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right.
Everyone's the same character.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If they're alive, bring them back. And they're just all doing the same thing, but in space.
Ted Danson can play like an Utapauan. Doesn't he look like an Utapauan?
Yeah,
He's got that tall head.
I guess that's true.
These are good ideas.
I'm never going to give up my idea for Space Cheers. And I don't want anything. Like, if someone decides to make this, I don't want anything other than to be able to watch it. Like, you don't have to, maybe a credit from the mind of Tyler Day.
Do you want that at the beginning of every episode?
Yeah. It's just a watermark over the entire
just a-
thing the whole time.
Real media video.
Yeah. Oh man, Star Wars Cheers. I'm never gonna. I'm always gonna want that.
These are all really. These are all good ideas.
I don't know why
think
anyone would want that.
genuinely-
All right, we got to move on.
Real quick, Galaxy's Edge. Let's talk about it.
It's coming.
It's coming.
At the end. So there's some things that are happening with Galaxy's Edge. Obviously, it's being built constantly in California, in Florida, and now it's the ground has been cleared in Paris.
Oh, I
For-
did not know about Paris.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Uh-huh. That's what they say.
cheese and wine for everyone. That's what they say
that's all
over
they say.
there.
That's all they say. Yeah. So in construction aerial shots, Ray's speeder has been spotted.
Oh,
In areas.
same speeder from the
from Jakku with Lars von
Lars von
Slater.
Tekka.
Yeah.
Lars von Metallica.
No.
No, there's a Ray speeder at Hollywood Studios in that
Yeah, in
that gallery area.
in the hangar bay, or what's it called? Hanger.
Hanger.
Hangers uppers. I don't know. There's also been a rumor that we will be seeing the Fireball from the Resistance, the
liquor.
the ship, the Fireball.
Oh.
Will be seen in the village area.
Is that the shuttle that lands?
No, that's
in-
that's one of the racing ships. That's the orange one.
the racing ships.
In-
Oh,
in
Resistance.
Resistance.
I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Got it. I'm thinking from the Resistance, like
Oh,
the group.
No.
Okay.
from a Resistance.
Okay.
So yeah.
Really?
Fireball rumored to be seen in Batu.
Who flies that? Do you remember in the show? Nope.
Fireball? Nope.
If we
I think
prepared,
that's
we
the
would
one, I
know.
think that's the one Kaz flies.
Really?
And
No. Do you think Kaz is there?
No.
Just his
there's
ship.
There's just stuff everywhere. There's just little pokes.
They're not going to
and
just put the
pokes
the
and
thing.
prods at things.
They're not going to put the thing there and not have a
Well,
backstory.
Batu's
for
already
it.
been referenced in Resistance.
Okay, yeah, we know it's a real thing, but I'm saying,
So
why
it's-
would
it's-
Kaz's ship be
It's
there?
at least near to where Kaz is.
Hmm.
And given the timeline that this is right before after Force Awakens, before The Last Jedi, isn't that the timeline where it falls in?
For the timeline for this theme park.
Yeah, it has a timeline. It has a time and space in the lore. I can't remember when. And then also in regards to the Rise of the Resistance ride, which we've talked about a lot, the giant ride where you're getting captured by the Resistance, and there's hundreds of animatronic stormtroopers. The quote sources, so all this with a grain of salt. Sources have said a few things from how the ride works is that you do get on a shuttle, and get off in the hangar and get onto ride ships, and those ride ships then go around, and the ride ships then load back into a shuttle, and that's how you exit the ride.
Which is from that confirms that rumor, right? Or it's backing up
At
that
least
rumor
getting
that
off and on.
for that part.
for that
We've
part,
heard
at
that
least
before. We talked about it.
There's
before.
even one part apparently with a 2-story elevator that the ride vehicles you are in like change levels, like multiple stories, like
Jeez, wow.
the height of the AT-ATs that are in there. But anyways, sources have said that, if you look at basically the hangar from Force Awakens where Poe is taken, like the scope of that hangar, the size of that hangar, that's basically what you're gonna get
Wow.
size wise. So
That's
there
incredible.
was basically screenshots that provided from Force Awakens saying, what you'll see. This is basically almost exactly what you'll see when you get off the transport.
Wow.
So it's just going to be this giant hangar, and that's probably going to be where all the hundreds of stormtroopers are, looking all real. And then you get put in your prison carts, and then everything kicks off from there. So we'd heard the hangar was going to be really big before, but if it's that size, that's massive. That's
Yeah.
Like soundstage, I guess, just massive soundstage size, even bigger.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
And
I mean, we were told that it's nothing like we've seen before in a theme park ride, right?
Yeah, I mean the scope of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's true. And then in relation to Galaxy's Edge, right before our last episode, or while we were recording the last episode, we said, there was an announcement coming. We thought it'd be a title because we were talking about Delilah Dawson talking about something coming, and she didn't get to announce it when she wanted to. But it finally was announced, and there are Galaxy's Edge books coming out.
Is this an episode of Ewok Islands?
It could be.
Is it?
Do it. I love that song. Yeah, so filling in what we thought we were going to be able to announce or talk about last episode about there being an announcement, what Delilah Dawson was teasing is that she is writing a Galaxy's Edge book, a novel called Black Spire, which is going to come out September 3rd, 2019, this year. There are a couple other books coming out in relation to Galaxy's Edge, one called A Crash of Fate, coming out August 6th, and then a book called Myths and Fables,
That one looks really interesting.
which comes out August 6th as well.
That seems like an opportunity to pull stories from the EU, the old E EU.
Yeah, and what's cool about it, and like the cover of it, there's like a crate dragon with a Jedi on the front with his lightsaber ignited. So it's like these myths and fables about Jedi and about other stuff. So it's not like necessarily true stories, but the myths and fables and legends that have been told about either Jedi or other things.
Right.
Like crate dragons, right? We've never
Myths and
we've
fables,
never really seen anything but the crate dragon.
aka stories that we heard or reread when
Right.
we were old Star Wars fans. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
That could be. And then Marvel is doing a Galaxy's Edge miniseries starting in April.
Nice.
With just focusing on some of the characters like the shopkeep, Ithorian, and all that.
Really trying to flesh this thing out.
Yeah.
This park.
I mean, it's for all we know, Batuu could be in episode 9.
Yeah, true.
It could be a location at some point, which would be interesting. But yeah, they're weaving it in as much as they can to make it, when you do visit, this real place that has history and a place in Star Wars, which is good. And any new Star Wars book by Delilah Dawson is fine by me, because all our other stuff has been fantastic. Because we've had some of Batuu with the last Thrawn book, Thrawn Alliances.
Right.
Yeah. But getting like a story of Black Spire will be interesting and cool. But that's September, and that may be around the time it opens, at least here in Orlando.
I'm thinking it's going to be later in the year.
Because of how far behind the construction is, yeah, it's possible. I've also heard rumors that they're going to push construction harder to try to hit that deadline or earlier
Before holidays?
because of the financial losses they've had this year, with Solo not doing as well and not having a major Marvel movie.
Try
so
to
far.
recoup some of that.
Trying to recoup some of that. So
Interesting.
There's been rumors of them possibly pushing construction harder to get it completed in time or earlier.
Wow.
For an August or September release.
Interesting.
And in relation to that, there was something talking about basically Disney's saying that I can't remember where this came from, but Bob Iger was basically saying, I don't think we need to really advertise or have any
He said it on the earnings call.
Yeah,
I
like
remember
any
this.
advertising for Galaxy's Edge. He's like, I could probably just tweet and say it's open, and that's probably all we need.
Right.
Just because it's already like everyone knows about it, right? Like it doesn't need any announcement. It doesn't need any ads.
Yeah.
It is a giant
Tyler
thing.
forced me to listen to the Disney shareholders Q1 earnings call.
Where nothing happened.
Absolutely nothing was talked about except really boring financial stuff that I could care less about.
Everyone on the call was really concerned about Disney Plus because
Yeah.
obviously that's going to be a game changer for them
Right.
financially.
But yeah, so on the call, Bob Iger, somebody asked him a question about marketing, or somehow he got on that
Yeah.
topic, marketing for Galaxy's Edge. And he was basically saying, no, we're going to purposely cut the marketing budget for Galaxy's Edge because it doesn't need it.
Yeah,
There's so
he
much
literally
hype.
said, I think I could just like tweet that it's open and that'd be enough.
Right. There's just
Um,
so much hype for this that
yeah.
everybody's watching it, which he's right. I mean,
it's Disney. I mean,
yeah.
when don't they do something and it's everywhere,
Right.
whether they want it to be or not? When do they do it? You know, good or bad, it's everywhere no matter what.
Right.
So yeah, that's crazy talk. But I mean, even in talks to, I mean, getting to that financial call, there was some cool stuff on there, like them talking about Disney Plus, and they were talking about the subscription costs and people concerned about the
The subscription
costs. And you know because Netflix has gone up a few dollars recently,
Yeah.
Hulu's gone down a few dollars recently, and they were talking about competing with that and probably even charging less.
Yeah. What was interesting
which
too
Hulu's
was
only $5 a month now, I
the
think.
the lowest tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it
Yeah.
could be as little as $5 a month, which I mean that's not bad for probably all you'll get with everything that you'll get out of it.
Right. And what was also interesting was, well, first off, he said they're considering licensing out the service to other content that's not necessarily Disney created.
Right.
And then also, he was talking about how with this purchase with Fox, as long as things remain branded as a Fox kind of property,
Right.
that there will still be movies and TV shows made that are more adult oriented.
Yeah, he was talking about they don't want to shy away from making stuff like Deadpool because obviously there's a market for that.
Right.
Deadpool's done fantastically.
Right. So if we have, Fox quote unquote branded stuff ending up on the streaming service, it won't just be a service, full of Disney cartoons and stuff for kids.
Yeah, but they do also have the option of Hulu because they're going to be the major shareholder of Hulu now too.
Maybe.
So I'm wondering if the more adult stuff will end up on Hulu, and the more family-friendly stuff would end up on Disney
I don't know.
Plus.
I just feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot if they don't put it all on their own streaming service,
Well,
at least at first.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. We'll see.
But I mean, they'll have a 60% stake in Hulu at this point.
Yeah.
But it was a good. I mean, it was a good good confirmation. I'm starting to lose all of my words. It's a good confirmation that they're not going to try to, I don't know,
Disneyfy.
Disneyfy Fox properties.
Right.
Like they're fine to still make quote adult content, or R-rated movies under the Fox licensing.
Yeah.
But he was saying because it's going to be Disney owned, they just need to be very clear in the marketing for these things that this is an R-rated film or this is not for children or families.
Right.
Just because it's owned by Disney doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Winnie the Pooh.
Right. Right.
Though
I mean, it could still be a 20th Century Fox, thing or whatever they're calling it now.
right.
Doesn't have to be Disney's name plastered all over this stuff.
It probably will be though.
I don't know.
You think they're going to keep the Fox name?
Yeah.
Because they're buying all the film and TV rights. I don't think they're going to keep the film studio. It's not going to be Fox
They didn't get
Films.
rid of Lucasfilm just because they bought it. I mean, they
No,
started
but it still
marketing it.
still has a Disney header in it.
Disney started marketing Star Wars heavily, yeah, but
But I'm saying, like, when you watch a Star Wars film, it still has the Disney. It still has the Disney. I can't remember what that, like the clip at the
the
beginning.
bumper or whatever it's
yeah,
called in
bumper.
the beginning, yeah,
So there's going to be a Disney and Fox
maybe.
bumper.
I don't know about
Finish the merger and then get us the Fox fanfare in episode 9.
Oh man, you're right. I didn't even think about that. You think that'll come back?
They would be allowed to use it without any repercussions.
Do you think that would
just
come
for
back?
just to have it. They don't even have to put up a Fox logo. Just play the fanfare.
Just the music.
I would sob. I would fall apart. I'm sure I would fall apart if I was sitting there waiting for a Star Wars movie and I just suddenly hear the fanfare out of nowhere right before like the logo. That would be intense.
It's just such the perfect beginning because of that's all we
And
heard.
then they'd have to retroactively put it back in the other two.
It is weird now watching the Force Awakens and Last Jedi, the first two movies.
And they're not being that fanfare.
And
at
it's
the
just
beginning.
like the silent
It's-
Lucasfilm logo, and
yeah.
then a long time ago.
That is weird.
It's strange.
They should have had like a jazz solo. There's a sax. There's a sax solo at the beginning. And then, and then the movie.
Was that a sax solo of the Fox fanfare, or was that just something different?
It was a take on it.
Okay.
It was a non-infringing take on the Fox fanfare. Yeah. The
Okay.
end.
The end. And then it ends. The movie ends.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That was it. It was just that.
Oh, I paid $17 for this.
Well,
These new Star Wars movies suck.
it was the Star Wars story. What do you expect? Yep. All right. I think
That's quite enough of this.
we're going the way of Anthony Daniels at this point, and we need to end it
Slowly getting drunk and having a stroke.
all at the same time. All right. Well, if you enjoy the show, please go on iTunes or any other place that allows ratings and reviews and leave one as you deem appropriate, but only if it's 5 stars.
Yelp, Angie's List, Better
Please.
Business Bureau.
Yep. Give us an entry on Yelp and leave us reviews.
You know, if we haven't claimed our page on Yelp, you could do that technically.
technically, and there's nothing we can do about it. If you want to interact with us, you can go to Twitter at Hokey_religion. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on anywhere really. You can email us at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com, and you can find all the episodes at hokeyreligion.com. If you really like us for some strange reason, you can go to patreon.com/hokeyreligion and give us your money for free for us. You can give us your money for free.
for $1 a month. For $1 a month,
For
we will
only as
accept
many
your money.
dollars as you deem appropriate, you can give us your money. You can support the show to help go into the costs of keeping the show on the internet, because even just
Because
having
we
the
all want
episodes-
that.
Yeah, because even just having the episodes available to you costs money. Hosting and all of that. Yeah. You can buy Michael a new laptop that his kids don't beat up.
I have holes in my laptop because of my children.
Just like bullet holes, just like straight holes. You can see through it. Oh yeah. And there was something else, and I forget.
I don't know.
I'm sure, but
I wasn't listening, so who knows?
Had my stroke enough for tonight.
I've stroked it enough for
I've
tonight.
stroked enough, and I am complete. This has been episode 90. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hokey religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey religion is an ancient weapon, so no match for a good blaster at your side.